You're listening to Brainbuster Radio.
Hi everyone, it's the Queen of NE, and you're listening to Wrestling Reverb right here on Brainbuster Radio, where you can also find me on Queen's Court every Wednesday.
Hey yo, Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah. J. Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is J. Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, 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 yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Wrestling Reverb right here on Brainbuster Radio. It is Friday, Kevin, so it must be the best day of the week.
Oh, absolutely. The weekend's on the horizon. We got a little reverb going, and there's no reason to even participate in any other day. This is the day.
Yeah, I agree. And hey, we're on Fridays, so it has to be great. But it's a little better today, Kevin. If we
just a bit, yeah.
We do have a special guest with us. Today. Now, it is tradition around here on Wrestling Reverb to let the guests kind of put themselves over, introduce themselves. So, who do we have with us today?
What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Chris, aka the Black Baymax, aka the dude who edits other dudes on Twitter and sometimes on Instagram.
Yeah, we do have you today. We've been I've been chatting with you for a little while on Twitter now, and we've just been kind of waiting for the right time, I guess, to chat. But please tell us your a little brief background on you. What kind of drives you towards wrestling, and what do you kind of love about wrestling?
One thing that really drives me to watch wrestling is basically just because it's an escape from reality. I really like to get away from my plain old mundane job and just watch two dudes, as many people like to say, two oily greased up dudes just slam each other across the ring.
Yeah, well, that's a really good way to put it, actually. It is an escape, and it's just escape from reality to whatever you're doing during your day. You can just chuck on some wrestling and just be involved and not worry about anything else. But like I said, we've been chatting on Twitter for a little while. We chat when we can, just through tweets and stuff like that. I always see your name pop up, especially when New Japan's on. So it's pretty safe to say you're a big New Japan Pro Wrestling fan.
I'm a big wrestling fan in general, and when New Japan comes on, myself and a whole crew of our New Japan fans, we go in.
Yeah.
Because New Japan is like one of the best things to happen right now. New Japan, it is popping off right now. And especially what happened with the Best of the Super Junior finals and what's coming up Sunday, Dominion. Oh my God.
Yeah, it is very it's everywhere at the moment. Kevin, we're casual fans of New Japan, I guess you would say, but have you been seeing the kind of New Japan stuff everywhere as well as I have?
Definitely seeing more of it than I've ever seen before, and that makes sense because it's probably as good as it's been in a while, and there's so much happening stuff going on that the exposure is well warranted. And with the United States, with the expansion westward, they're going to have the Royal Quest show in August. They're going to have the G1 show in Dallas coming up soon.
Can't wait.
They're taking over the world, man, and that's the best possible thing for wrestling right now.
Wrestling takeover. That definitely has to happen.
Yeah, I want the wrestling world. It seems like we're in general, the wrestling world seems to be in a little bit of a... We're on the cusp of something, I feel. I don't feel like we're in like a boom period or anything right now, but I feel like we're nearly there with everything that's going on with AEW, New Japan. WWE's in a terrible spot at the moment, but I feel
boy.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes when things have to get really bad before they get good, that is my mindset going into this, is that at some point they have to realize that their shit's really not working at the moment. And they need to do something to turn it around. And I think we'll get there, but it's just going to take a matter of time. But
the old darkness before it gets dawn type of thing.
Yeah. You know, you've got to kind of look at it. Me and Kevin, man, it's been a wild few months since WrestleMania for me and Kevin, just in terms of ups and downs, to put it lightly, Kevin.
Yeah, definitely some ups and downs, definitely some darkness, not a whole lot of light. But, you know, I like the way you look at it, Josh, that, you know, it's always, and like as Chris said, it's always darkest before the dawn. I really hope that's the case. I hope there's a light at the end of this tunnel, because it seems like we've been in a very long, very cramped, and unoriginal tunnel for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way you put it, Kevin.
Yeah, no joke. It is that, but we're not going to really shed too much light on that today, because we've been talking about that a lot, Kevin, is that kind of we've been in. So today we kind of have a little bit of a topic to kind of go on. We're going to talk the best and worst in wrestling, just in general of a whole. We're going to throw out some things. We're going to kind of give our thoughts and opinions on that, and, you know, this is kind of fun. We don't do a lot of this kind of stuff here on Wrestling Reverb. Kevin, when I kind of said about this in the group DM and stuff like that, it is kind of, I wouldn't say it's foreign to us, but we don't really do stuff like this too much.
Yeah, we're more of a freewheeling type of podcast. We don't usually have set topics in mind, but I will say that I do enjoy these types of shows. Like we've done, you know, I think my first or second show as host, we did like the word association, and then we did trivia one night. I kind of like these types of shows where we sort of, you know, we get into like the nitty gritty of wrestling without talking too much about current events.
Yeah, I do like that as well, and that's kind of where we needed a guest for this one. And when we originally talked, Chris, it was more, hey, you kind of had an idea, and I was like, hell yeah, let's go with that. I love when a guest can contribute to the show as well, not just, you know, I love the fact that you're kind of willing and able to talk about anything, I think.
Basically.
As long as it's wrestling, I think you're good.
Yeah, definitely. As long as it's wrestling, I don't care. I mean, video games, wrestling, cartoons, it doesn't matter.
You sound like my kind of dude. Yeah, we are going to do some best and worst in wrestling today. And I guess we'll kind of go right into it. But we'll start with Kevin. We'll start with you. When we think of best and worst in wrestling, obviously we're thinking like finishers, theme songs, matches, whatever it may be. But just to throw one out there, what do you think is the best wrestling finisher in your opinion?
Oh boy. There's a small category of finishers I place above the rest. That including I'm not going to go through them all because I don't want to rip off more than one finisher in case our guest Chris decides to use one as well. But for me, it's the Stone Cold Stunner. I think it's the most iconic finisher there is. Everyone knows how to do it. You see people doing it at parties, drunk off their asses all the time. It's good fun.
It is true. And the double finger.
It's just my favorite personal finisher.
Yeah, no, that's a good one to have. It is probably the most iconic one that there is. Chris, what about you? What's in your opinion, what's the best wrestling finisher?
I hate to have to agree with Kevin, but one of them is the Stone Cold Stunner because it's simple, it's effective, everybody knows how to do it, and basically it can come from out of nowhere. One of the things that I like about finishes is that it can come from absolutely out of nowhere, kind of like Randy Orton's RKO, sweet chin music, or any kind of super kick that can lead to a finisher. Or like Okada's Rainmaker, it can come from absolutely out of nowhere.
Yeah, that is a very important aspect of, in a lot of people's minds, a finisher has to come out of nowhere so you can kind of be shocked, that shock surprise. But for me, I don't really necessarily look at that. I just look at something that just, to me, a finisher has to look like it hurts. That gets me in the zone. Yeah. So for me, the Widow's Peak, Victoria's Widow's Peak is mine. It just looks like uncomfortable. Ow. And I've always kind of said the Widow's Peak has been my favorite finisher and it's very underrated. I don't feel like a lot of people talk about that finisher enough. But that is mine. It looks like it hurts. It just looks very uncomfortable. I know a lot of it's probably in the sell, but that's neither here and there. It's all a part of the finish. But I just think it just looks like it would hurt. So that would be
definitely
mine. Kevin, what about the worst wrestling finisher? What's something in your mind that just looks plain bad?
Jeez. There are a couple that come to mind here, too. Some that I just don't like that are maybe more popular than I would wish. But you know what really just really pissed me off to see was Santino Marella putting a Cobra sleeve on his arm and poking you in the chest. And that was his finishing move.
Not the greatest. It's certainly that's the kind of stuff that's contrary to what I was saying. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't look like it would hurt me. It just looks. It is. I know it's meant to be silly, and that was the kind of point. But he did win a lot of matches with that move.
He did.
What about you, Chris? What's the worst wrestling finisher in your opinion?
I'm gonna hit the Wayback Machine. We're gonna go all the way back to the 80s. The Warrior Splash.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because all he did was just run a few times, and then just jump and did like a flying splash on his opponent. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, but it was cheap. It was cheesy, like it was supposed to be back in the 80s and 90s. It was for the kids.
Yeah, it was, and I get what you're saying. Sometimes, when you said that, I was almost going to be like, no explanation needed, because I get it. But it is, he didn't even jump very high in the air.
He really didn't, though.
It just looked like it would just be like, get off me, like, ow. Like,
right?
Not like, like, it'd be just like, ow. You know, when you, like, kick your toe or something, like that kind of uncomfortable.
Exactly.
But, yeah, that one it is very cheap. It is very 80s wrestling, that move. Wrestling in the 80s, I guess, was a lot different. But mine is... Kevin, this is probably going to surprise you a lot, just because of the love I have for this person. But it's actually Lacey Evans' Woman's Right. I hate...
Oh, wow.
I absolutely hate when a punch is a finisher. Because, A, why not just do it at the start of the match? B, everybody punches in wrestling, and
right,
and like she also doesn't do it that well. 50% of the time she doesn't even hit it properly. So I mean, that to me, it's the same as like Big Show's punch. I don't like when a punch is a finish. I guess is that.
I was getting ready to say you might as well throw the Big Show's WMD in there.
It's just silly. Like a punch to me in wrestling is silly when you've got people doing, whatever it may be. I don't like a punch. The punch is a move, fine. Like you use it, to set up something else, or just use it free will. But as a finish, I'm not feeling it. Kevin, I know you're going to be on me because you're going to be like, you love Lacey Evans, but...
Yeah, I can't believe you just sold your girl up the river.
Calm down now. She ain't my girl. There's a little line before Lacey, but she's got a terrible finish. She had a better finish in the Mae Young Classic. I don't know why she doesn't use that. But, yeah, I get it, the woman's right, the right hand, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, haha, funny. But... It's just not a good finish. Any punch as a finish to me is just not fun. But anyway, I can't hate on Lacey Evans for too long because that won't look good on my rep. Kevin.
Hold on, Josh, Kevin, before you guys go off with another best, I might as well just throw in another one. As much as I love Mick Foley,
Ooh.
as much as I love Mick Foley, he shaped my childhood. I'm gonna quote Jerry the King Lawler, that damn Mr. Sacco.
Yes.
It is.
This was the second one I thought of.
It is average. It is very it's I guess in the short word it's silly. You know what I mean? Like it's just very
and
kooky.
it's in the same vein as the Cobra for Santino. It's literally like the same thing, except Mick shoves it down your throat, whereas Santino taps you on the chest.
Yeah.
What kind of is it more so, Chris, that it's just too silly? What do you not like about it?
As much as the crowd popped for it, it's like I said about the Warrior Splash. It was just too cheesy. It's just too cheesy, and it basically is kind of too predictable. Because whenever Mick Foley reached down and grabbed the sock out of his pants, you knew it was coming.
Yeah, very true. Honestly, very, very true. It did. Hey, I'm not going to say that I never popped for it, because I always did, and and stuff like that. But if you analyze it, it's very cheesy and it's very silly.
Oh yeah.
But to move on, Kevin, wrestling theme songs are always a big part of wrestling, and they're a big part of the presentation of wrestling. What's the best one in Kevin's world?
Undertaker.
Oh.
It's just so chilling and so iconic, and every time you hear that gong go off, you know what's coming, and you know something's about to get real.
That is
so
exactly.
That always got me. Still gets me to this day, and 20 some odd years later, I love it.
Yeah, that is it's a very iconic piece of music. Everyone kind of knows Undertaker's song, and that at least the dong, at the start. So that was a terrible, terrible. Wow, that was the worst one I've ever done in my life. That was bad. But Chris, what about you? What's your best wrestling theme song?
Well, one of my best theme songs right now is Aleister Black.
Yeah, very good.
All time. I'm pretty sure Queen's gonna love me for this one, but it's Stone Cold. Because when the glass shatters, as JR would say, business is about to pick up.
Again, iconic piece of music, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Shit's about to go down, and it is. What do you? Just before I give mine, Chris, what do you think makes a good wrestling theme song great?
Well, to me, it has to have this feeling that it has to get you hyped. And if it fits the wrestler, then it's like peanut butter and jelly. They go so well. Like Aleister Black. Like the aforementioned Aleister Black. It's very dark. It's very sinister. And it's the same way it fits his character.
Yeah.
And like Kevin speak, Undertaker, it fits.
It's true. It has to fit the person. It doesn't even necessarily, at least in my eyes, have to be a fantastic piece of music. As long as it fits the person that it is there for, that to me makes a good wrestling song great. It makes that theme fit them. It's easy to say the obvious ones like Edge. Edge has a fantastic theme song. It fits Edge. It's very Edge. There's no really other way to describe it than Edge. But I'm going to throw one out that probably no one's really thinking about. But to me, one of the best wrestling theme songs, I'm not necessarily saying it is the best ever, but in my eyes, it's one of the best. And it's Matt Hardy, when he had that version 1 song with the typing of the keyboard. For tornado. Yeah. That is, to me, I just feel like that's Matt Hardy. You know that's Matt Hardy. I know a lot of people will probably be like, really? Of all songs, Matt Hardy? But in my opinion, that's one of the best. It just really fit Matt. And I wish he still had that music, to be honest. Me too. I miss that theme. And it was just, I guess that was kind of the time that I was growing up in wrestling, when he had the Matt facts on the side and, you know, the keyboard typing and the load up and everything like that. He was V1 now, you know, he had Shannon Moore, his MFers, if you will. But that to me is a great wrestling theme song. But of course, when there's good, there's bad. Kevin, what's just a horrible wrestling theme song that when you hear it, you're just like, ugh.
Well, I've got two. Josh, you might know one I'm about to say, because I've definitely mentioned it on this show before. The Right to Censor.
Hey! Hey!
That was just, the horn going on.
No, Kevin, Chris, you're about to see a Kevin and Josh argument.
I can't stand it.
Kevin, you know my feelings on the Right to Censor. You know my feelings on the Right to Censor theme music. That shit's great.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Call that music.
It's not even music, it's a sound. It's the sound over and over. It's just, it's so bad.
I feel like every piece of my sanity goes away whenever I hear that song. And it sounds like it's saying, why? Like, why? Why are you listening to this? Why?
What are you guys, you don't think this is an iconic piece of music?
Don't you fucking dare.
No! Stop it! Make it stop!
See, to me, this is my point. A good wrestling theme song fits that person or that group. That fits them. And you know it fits them, guys. Come on.
It doesn't mean I have to like it, though.
Hey.
Exactly. You're not wrong. It fit every single member of the Right to Censor because they were annoying as hell.
Oh, I love
trying to censor the things we didn't like.
Man,
trying to censor the things that we like.
I absolutely, especially as I've gotten older, whenever I watch old Attitude Era stuff, the Right to Censor, I'm like, oh baby, here we go. Like, whenever it's Ivory, Steven Richards, whatever it may be, I was like, hell yeah.
The Good Father.
Oh, the Good Father. Oh,
Good Father. Jesus.
Oh, Kevin, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're off the show. What's your other one, Kevin?
Oh, the other one was Brie Bella's Brie Mode theme.
Bad song.
For me, a good wrestling theme has to start out hot like that. It has to be something memorable right at the beginning to hook you. Brie Mode is like the softest little intro that there's been in a while.
It's got to create something for the fans to react to. It has to make them pop. And that, it's quiet, like you said. It's very subtle, almost. And it doesn't really create a chance for people to be like, oh, yeah, you know, even... Hey, there's Bella fans. I'm a Bella fan. But you have to have something... Hey, Nikki Bella, or the Bella Twins song with the... You know, that, to me, you can pop to. You can go, okay, that's the Bella's music. Whether it's a good song or not, it ain't. But it suits them. At least suits Nikki. Brie... Ooh, not so much.
Right.
What about you, Chris? What is a bad wrestling song that isn't the Right to Censor?
That was my first pick, but thanks, Josh. But I'd have to go back to 2011 whenever David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy were a tag team.
Mm-hmm. That is a bad song.
It sounded like a weird ass African chant. I'm like, what in the hell? What is this? what is this? When you're standing next to me, you feel the power. Oh, I'm gonna feel something, all right. It's probably the gas coming out of your ass, but it's not the power, whatever the hell it is.
It was a bad song. That reminds me of, if any of you ever played WWE 13, that song was on game so many times in the menu, and it used to piss me off to my core. Me and my brother had that game, and we would just be like, oh, I loaded that game up on my Xbox 360 the other day, and that was the first song that played, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to turn this off.
Right.
It was not a fun experience, but that is a really... I honestly try to block that one out. That is a really bad song. Let me think. For mine... See, I just think, again, things that don't fit people, and let me think. Oh, I know. As much as I ham it up now and just love it for all the wrong reasons now, there was a song that X-Pac had, and it was like a country song that he had, and it was really bad. I can't even think of how it starts, but do you know what I'm talking about?
X Factor, whenever him, A-Train, and Just Incredible were part of that so-called faction. It was a song by Uncle Cracker, dude.
Yeah. I love it now just for the laugh, just for like shits and giggles. I'm like, that's funny. But oh my god, like it just sucked so bad. When I first heard it, I was like, what in the hell is this?
And the way it started off was like, hey yo, you dealing with the X Factor. And then it went into I was like, what?
That's exactly.
I was expecting something like Xbox theme from DX or something.
I think it was the mixture of that intro with that music, and I was like, what? It was just really bad, and it feels like to me, you know, when you're listening to like a lot of like EDM, like dance music, and then the drops coming, and then it builds and builds and builds, and then it's just like, ugh. That's what it feels like. It's just like, what?
I understand what you're saying when you build up that drop, and then when the drop comes, you go to Cow's Moon. It's like, when everybody in the club's like,
what? It's like, wow, wow.
The hell we just go to?
I honestly, as just a complete moron and stuff now, I love it, but just it's a bad wrestling song. But Kevin, you went quiet in that one. Have you heard that, Kev?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
It is just bad. Let's think of something a little bit more in the general aspect, and a question that we probably get asked a lot. Kevin, best superstar of all time.
Shit, you're going right for the jugular here.
Listen, I don't muck around here. I don't muck around at all.
God damn.
Remember, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's your favorite. It's just, in your opinion, who's the best.
That's such a tough, loaded question.
Really?
There are like 6 different ways you could look at best wrestler of all time, depending on work rate, depending on character work, some combination of all different things, which is how I tend to look at it.
What's the first name when I asked that question that popped into your brain?
Ask me it again.
Best superstar of all time, Kevin?
Shawn Michaels.
That is a great answer. There's no real wrong answer because it's your opinion. There's nothing really
everyone's
wrong.
Everyone's got a different taste.
I was on, just to give you a minute to kind of think about that, Chris, I was on Headlock Talk Show this week, their debut on Brainbuster Radio. Shout out to Tanner and Steven, because they're great dudes. We talked about Vegemite for like an hour because they wanted to know about Vegemite, and I was like, I'll happily tell you. Anyway, but that's unrelated. But they were kind of saying, like, who do you think's overrated and all kind of this stuff, and on air, they got it on the show. I said Bret Hart is super overrated, and they were like, oh no. But to preface it, I was like, that's just my opinion. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all, hey, Kevin, what's my favorite line that I say around here? Wrestling is subjective. I say it all the time.
Oh, you love that line.
I do love that line. But to me, it's true. Everyone can have a different. No one really ever agrees completely on wrestling because it is so. There's many different flavors of ice cream. There's many different kinds of professional wrestlers. So to me, that's what kind of Shawn Michaels is a fantastic pick, and it is a really good answer. What do you like about Shawn, Kevin?
I just think he does everything so well. Like he was such a great character. He could play bad guy, he could play good guy. He was a terrific wrestler, terrific on the microphone. I think he was just the biggest total package out of anybody.
Yeah. No, definitely. Chris, now that you've had some time to think about the question and think about your answer, who is the best in your opinion?
I'm about like Kevin. That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
But in my mind, besides the obvious, in my mind, one of the greatest of all time is the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Macho Madness. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's bad.
Oh, yeah, brother, you got everything.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, brother, you got everything. You got the character, you got the outfits, you got the persona, yeah. You got everything down pat, yeah.
Damn, that is real good. You gotta really, feel it. You gotta get down, right in your stomach.
You gotta feel it. You gotta feel it in your toes, and when it comes up through your ankles, and then through your knees, and then through your chest, and then you gotta go with it, yeah.
Damn.
Jeez.
Damn. Kevin, we're getting outstaged on our own show.
That's good. This is for guests.
So, what draws you into Macho Man, Chris?
In all seriousness, his charisma.
Yeah.
His charisma is top notch. In and out of the ring, whenever he stays in character. That's rare in WWE nowadays. He stays in character. His persona is him times 1,000. And plus his in-ring work speaks for itself. I mean, Savage Steamboat WrestleMania 3. I mean, come on.
It is a fantastic match. It is his charisma. He's super over the top in the best way possible. He is very good. I understand that. Two different picks, Shawn Michaels and Macho Man. Very different picks, but in great ways. For me, listen, Shawn's always up there for me. I think Shawn is one of the best. But just to sound a little different, I'll go Ric Flair. Ric Flair is fantastic. He was just $1 million. You just looked at him and he looked like a star. You have to have the overall kind of presentation. Presentation is with everything else. He was fantastic in the ring, obviously.
Of course.
But the I feel like I'm a little more drawn into the presentation and the character than, hey, I love a great professional wrestler like all of us do. I love technical, down and dirty wrestling, and it does matter a lot, but I am very drawn into larger than life and someone that you can live kind of vicariously through. And, at some point in all of our lives, I'm sure we've all wanted to be Ric Flair. He was rich, he was famous, he had all the girls, it was everything. He just was a superstar.
Limousine riding, jet flying, get stealing, woo, wheeling, dealing, woo, son of a gun, woo.
Damn, you are good at this. Kevin, we're just not that good.
We're getting a run for our money here on Wrestling Reverb.
We are. But yeah, Flair to me is just, he's just larger than life. Now this question is a little harder. The worst, in your opinion, but I won't even say worst. Who do you just think someone maybe that was just not on that level of just you're a superstar? Kevin, when you think of someone that just maybe even didn't live up to the hype, or just someone that didn't just just didn't fit your kind of style as a fan, who would that be for you? It doesn't even necessarily mean
this
is bad.
This is a tougher question. When I think of bad superstars, I don't think of like the jobbers of the world, like I couldn't even pick a name out if I tried. I think about superstars that A, were hyped up, and B, got a lot more in this business than they should have.
Yeah.
And so for me, my answer to this is a former world champion, a product of a lot of hype, who actually just sucked. The Great Khali.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was, I guess, in a way, overexposed. They did too much with him that he wasn't really, I guess, what's the word? Capable of doing? I don't even know if that's the right word. But, yeah, oh, God, Great Khali. Ooh. It's not that I didn't hate the Great Khali. He was, when he was the Punjabi Playboy? Was he, when he was like, with Natty and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They did the Khali kiss cam, stuff like that. That was fine. It was good for a laugh, but I do get what you mean. He's just very, yeah.
The Great Khali thing was kind of a guilty pleasure.
Which one? The first one, the slow one, or the second one that you danced to?
The second one that you dance to. Sound like King Julian on steroids or something.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I got down to that song when I needed to. That Great Khali dance that he did, when he did with the arms, that the only one that he knew how to do. I mean, I've imitated that plenty of times. I mean, it's someone that I can actually dance better than, so I'll take it. I'll take it.
True.
What about you, Chris? What, again, not necessarily the worst, just someone that you just didn't really get.
Jinder Mahal.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Jinder. Why the Jinder hate?
Yeah.
What? Give me to me. I'll take it.
It's not exactly the hate. Yeah, it all ties into the Great Khali. You bring Jinder in from basically out of nowhere. All of a sudden, it's claiming he's the Great Khali's half brother, and I'm sitting over here like, who the hell are you, bruh? and then all of a sudden, you bring him into 3MB, and you immediately get lost in the shuffle, and then you come back, and then all of a sudden, you're shot to the moon as WWE champion, and that pretty much just reeked offense. I was like, wait, hold up. That's the same dude from 3MB, right? You're kidding me. He's a champion.
Yeah.
That ain't right.
I understand.
Something ain't adding up here, bro.
I get it. Kevin, what's your take on Jinder?
I hate Jinder.
Okay. You don't even need to explain.
I'll call it hate. I mean, I respect his work ethic because he has worked hard to get to where he eventually got to.
Yeah.
But I never saw it with him. I don't think anybody really saw it with him except, I guess, Vince once he got jacked. Decided to put the belt on him. And he basically sunk SmackDown.
Basically.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. I don't really have too much of an opinion on Jinder. I mean, hey, don't hinder Jinder, am I right? No. It is what it is. Jinder was, I don't know, he won and the shock value was, I guess, did what it did. It was shocking. But other than that, there was really not too much credibleness to him being WWE champion for quite some time. He was champion for a good 4 or 5 months, correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like he was.
Yeah.
It was
he won in shock value, and then the shock wore off the next week.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, okay, that's, did what I guess it... Hey, if it was intended just to shock, it did that, but it really didn't do much else. And, I mean, Jinder's not really doing a hell of a lot now. Hey, that's actually a lie. He is a former 24/7 champion. And I won't take any 24/7 hate on here.
I mean, R-Truth is technically the best 24/7 champion.
He's fantastic.
R-Truth
is great.
Already like what, 3-4 times, I think?
4 times.
4? Is it 4, Kevin?
Last night it was 4.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, oh, yeah.
He pinned Elias under the ring.
That's right. I love R-Truth. R-Truth is... You know what I like about R-Truth? Okay, he's not the best ever, but he knows his role, and he plays it very well. He plays it incredibly well. He knows his lane, he sticks in it, he knows what he's there for, and I mean, he's been around for a long time, and he's just doing his thing, and and I'll take any kind of positivity and greatness I can take out of the WWE product at the moment. He is probably my favorite thing about WWE at the moment. I'm not even joking.
True. He is pretty much the shining light of the main roster right now.
He really is.
No disrespect to Ali. Ali's fucking awesome. But R-Truth screams longevity, and he's been there since. He's been there since the 1990s. He's been there since the 90s. Yeah. Back whenever him and Road Dogg were teaming together.
Yeah, no, he's been there for a long time, and yeah, he's just fun. Like when he was on Raw holding onto that table, oh man, I lost my crap. I was like, hell yeah. The face was like, oh no. I was just like, this is great.
He was like, oh shit, I done found out.
And him and I like him and Mella as a unit. I think they actually play with each other really well. When they were first kind of paired together in the Mixed Match Challenge, I was like, what? I don't understand, like, why would they be friends? But they've really kind of grew into that role, and I like them. Yeah. I really do hope at some point Mella wins the 24/7 championship. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be funny when she does. I feel like she will, right? Kevin, what do you think? Mella's got to win it at some point.
I think that's got to be the plan, right? That she's going to turn on Truth at some point and win the belt. I can't see it going any other way.
No, and, you know, hey, let's do a little bit quick take here. Kevin, are you preferring Mella? Is Mella more of a natural heel than a babyface?
I think she's been really good at both, but I'd rather see her as... I think she's more of a credible championship contender as a heel.
Yeah. I do think she... What about you, Chris? Mella face, heel? What is your opinion on Carmella?
I'm with Kevin on this one. She played both perfectly. I can't really differentiate with either one. I like her both as a heel and as a face. Yeah. But I do like her with as a brunette.
Oh, really?
It just made her a little bit more. It made her a little bit more sexy to me. Just saying.
I'm honestly a fan of her as a blonde. Hey, but I guess each to your own.
I'm not knocking her as a blonde either. Carmella is a hot chick all around. Just saying.
She is. But yeah, Mella to me, Kevin, you're kind of spot on. She does play both roles well. I just think she, again, like you said, she is probably more credible as a champion, as a heel. But I mean, as a 24/7 champion, she doesn't even necessarily have to turn on Truth, right? Couldn't she just... I mean, probably. I mean, she is his friend.
She doesn't necessarily have to turn on Truth, but let's just say Elias, if he's 24/7 champion at the time, he probably could get knocked out. He's laid out unconscious, and ref's right there. Carmella gets the pin.
That's true.
1, 2, 3. She could be the 24/7 champion. Why not?
Yeah, listen. I think we've talked about this before, Kev, but the 24/7 championship to me is the fun championship. It doesn't necessarily need to be serious. It doesn't need to have prestige. It just needs to have as most reigns and as most stuff as possible crammed into a show or on social media. I kind of like the fact that they went to the golf course and did all that. The funniest thing...
I was getting ready to say that, like R-Truth, Jinder Mahal in the golf course.
And the funniest thing was that Jinder was in full gear.
I was about to say, who dresses up full gear on the damn golf course? Only Jinder.
Kev, we'll get back to our kind of stuff in a minute, but are you enjoying the 24/7 stuff?
Oh yeah, yes I am. I think it's goofy. I think it's funny. I think it might be the highlight of the show right now, considering everything else is kind of down.
Yeah.
and it's a nice moment of it's a nice moment of levity through all like the seriousness and like the sort of the muck that is Raw right now, and so to a lesser extent SmackDown. I think it's a nice little moment to break up the tension that fans are feeling towards the product. I honestly don't know how anyone is like not a fan of it. It's funny.
Yeah.
Wrestling doesn't have to be serious all the time.
I agree. The best thing about wrestling is it has every kind of entertainment. It's comedy, it's drama, it's whatever it may be. Chris, what's your take on the 24/7 title and the stuff that's surrounding it?
I didn't like it at first because I thought it was just another random ass belt. But now that I find it kind of funny that R-Truth is holding it, it's on the right person to actually make it a little bit more hilarious. I like it.
Yeah. It's funny.
I don't want nobody else as at this point, I don't want anybody else holding the belt except for R-Truth.
It is the perfect title for him. It's like it's almost made for R-Truth. But it is fun. But we'll get back on topic here. I still got to give my kind of opinion on a bad kind of, I guess, bad superstar or whatever we're calling this. To me, someone, again, to the same extent of Great Khali and Jinder or whoever, someone that was just overexposed, and that's Kelly. And I'm not a hater of Kelly. I mean, I can see why they, at that time, in that era, she was very much marketable. However, I feel like Kelly, although she was trying, and she did, try a lot in the ring, I feel like she was way overexposed of what her, I guess, skill level was in the ring. She got to a certain, like, improvement level, and then just kind of, in my eyes, just never really got any better than that. I'm not saying she was necessarily horrible or bad. She was just overexposed. I understand the time.
Not wrong.
I understand it was a different time for that kind of era of ladies in ladies in WWE. But a lot of the girls at that time, at least they got better than what they did. And Kelly just got to a certain point and then she just kind of stayed the same. No hate. I don't hate Kelly. A lot of people don't like Kelly. I don't hate Kelly. I see why she was definitely employed. I do see it, especially at that time. It was all based on looks, and you could put that girl on a poster, and hey, it drew eyes. She drew eyes to at least her stuff. But yeah, that would be mine. We'll do
during that time, basically, you had Beth Phoenix like way up here because she was pretty much almost kind of like nobody ever seen before. China. But and then there was like the rest.
Yeah.
Beth Phoenix, Natalya, Michelle McCool.
Glad you said Michelle.
The rest. Kelly was pretty much lumped in with the rest.
Yeah. No, there was certainly a difference between, at that era of time, the ones who you could see could really wrestle, they could go, and then there was just kind of the other girls who, a lot of them tried, and I'll give them they weren't really given a lot of opportunity in that time. It wasn't based on wrestling. They weren't really there. They had to just know, I guess, the basics. But you could tell the girls that could go and the girls that were trying. But hey, different time. I'm glad it's come into a different era. But as we kind of move on from that, Kevin, we'll just go around the thing here, without kind of sticking on too much of one kind of topic. What's something that in your mind is, we talked about finishers, we talked about people and stuff like that, and theme songs and whatever it may be. But when you think of like a best in wrestling, what's something that comes to your brain of just anything that is the best in wrestling? It can be anything at all.
Anything at all minus the ones we've said already?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Hey, if you want to rehash some other stuff, go ahead. Be my guest.
No, I don't want to, because the easy ones we've covered already. You covered, I think best match is probably one too.
Yeah, go ahead. If you want to talk about some matches, go ahead.
My personal favorite match. I don't even know. But if you want to, we want to talk about a good one that we've talked about in the show before, Josh. NXT Takeover Brooklyn, Bayley and Sasha Banks.
That's my favorite match.
That is one of my favorite matches. I know it's one of your favorite matches.
It is my favorite match. That is my number one favorite match I've ever watched.
It was just so brilliantly told. A great story, great in-ring work, some great high spots. Like when Sasha launches herself over the ref to the outside. I remember watching that and being like, "Holy shit!" And for me, this is an important match because this was the first NXT show I watched.
Oh.
Definitely. The first Takeover I watched fully.
Oh.
And I walked away from that match. I didn't even want to watch the Balor-Owens match, honestly. I was so exhausted from watching Bayley Banks. And I knew that we'd watch something special. And that got me hooked on NXT.
Yeah, that match is just fantastic. That is... It was just to me, that is if you can have a perfect wrestling match, that's pretty damn close, at least for me. It was just, oh man, it was so good. I can watch that match. I think I've watched that match enough where I could nearly go, this happens here, this kick happened. I've watched that match a dang lot, and I love it to bits. Chris, what about you? What's your favorite match ever? I know it's a hard question because you probably have a few that come to your brain.
Oh yeah, man. A few that does come to mind: the aforementioned Savage Steamboat WrestleMania 3, Hardy's, Dudley's, Edge and Christian TLC 2 WrestleMania X7.
Oh yeah.
Rock Hogan WrestleMania 18. Back when I actually liked Hulk Hogan. But that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna go into a few modern classics.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okada, Omega, the entire saga, the entire 4 matches. Okada, Omega.
Yeah, they are very, very good. I like how you said modern classics because they are very much matches that we'll look on in 10 years' time or whatever and go, damn, they were really good. That was just a really good saga of matches, a really good group of matches, and they're just very, very, very good. Hey, I don't know why this one comes to my brain. It's not even my favorite match of all time, but it's just been on my brain ever since kind of, we went on to matches. Cactus Jack and Triple H, the street fight at Royal Rumble 2000. It's brutal.
Oh,
it's a brutal match. It is a brutal match. That, those thumbtacks, that pedigree. Oh boy! Every time I see that, I'm like, oh my god. That, you know what? A lot of people. I've had conversations with people on Twitter or just whatever in general, just about hardcore wrestling, and when a lot of people say, I feel like this has come up more than it should have, but if I say a hardcore match is one of my favorite matches ever, people kind of look at that kind of funny. I don't know why, and I don't know why. Do you think there's a stigma against maybe having a hardcore match as your favorite match ever? Because it can be perceived as just, it is wrestling, but it's not pure wrestling. Chris, what's your take on hardcore wrestling?
I mean, I kind of like it. I didn't necessarily grow up watching ECW because 1, I was not allowed, and 2, we didn't have any tapes of ECW. Huh. But if you like hardcore matches, ECW is your fix. And I'm going to go even a little bit more further. Some of the death matches in Japan. Guys like Cactus Jack, Masato Tanaka, all these other guys that have participated in death matches. Like, wow. Some of the stuff that people go through, I cringe. I still cringe to this day. Even when there was a match, I believe it was Randy Orton versus Mick Foley, Backlash, I believe it was 2004. Whenever Randy Orton landed on the thumbtacks, and you can visibly feel the pain. Whenever his face just went from to oh my God, there's thumbtacks in me. Somebody get him out. Oh shit. I still cringe. I'm like, oh God, my back. Oh, why does my back itch? Oh God, why does it hurt?
Yeah, oh, man, some of the stuff that goes on in those matches is wild. Kevin, opinion on hardcore wrestling? Do you think it isn't a pure form of wrestling?
I don't know. You can't really say that because it's somebody's form of wrestling. Someone out there likes it, which means it's wrestling. It's pure. You don't have to, you don't have to be a technical wizard to put on a pure wrestling match. Hardcore matches are the norm in some companies, ECW, some of the deathmatch companies out in Japan, Combat Zone.
Yeah.
And I respect what these guys do. I love hardcore wrestling because if you have the stomach for it, it could be as viscerally entertaining as any sort of technical masterclass. Mick Foley and Edge from WrestleMania 22, one of the most iconic matches that are in recent memory.
Yeah, that was my favorite match until Sasha and Bayley came along. So I love that match. I've watched that match a lot too.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm trying to make is that like WWE could do it and people loved it. So why would they look at it as like a lesser form of wrestling?
King of the Ring 98 ring a bell? Undertaker, Mankind.
Yeah.
I think I've watched that match one or two times.
Or Shane McMahon, Kurt Angle at King of the Ring, where Kurt tossed Shane through plate glass windows and shit.
Jesus.
Yeah, that one is tough to watch for me. Maybe more so than like a lot of other matches, just because of those glass spots.
Yeah, they are. Oh, man. Like. Hey, we've kind of this is a wrestling reverb normal thing, is just going on a weird tangent about something that we didn't even plan to go on about. But hardcore wrestling, there's different forms of hardcore wrestling, and I feel like to me, I am more of the, I guess, modernized, well, not even modernized now, but just the mainstream form of hardcore wrestling. I love ECW. I do love ECW. However, I don't think I could watch... If ECW was around now, exactly the same as it was around in the 90s, I don't think I could watch ECW all the time. I guess it's just not always for me. It's a sometimes thing. And in the 90s, into the 2000s, I feel like the way WWE handled hardcore wrestling was smart. It was very mainstream. I guess that's my form of hardcore wrestling. There's a lot more hardcore than what WWE did. Well, in some ways, a lot of ways they did a lot of wild stuff. But hardcore wrestling in its mainstream form is what I love. But back to my original kind of point, Cactus and Triple H at WrestleMania 2000 was the epitome of modern, I guess, mainstream hardcore wrestling in its Cactus, Mick Foley, Mankind, whatever you want to call him. He did some crazy shit. He did crazy shit.
He did.
Hey, you brought up Hell in a Cell from King of the Ring. Just every time I watch that, it still gets me in a way that it did if I was watching it the first time. Put yourself in, here's a little weird scenario for all of us, but Kevin, starting with you, putting yourself in that crowd, okay, and you're watching that live, what in the fuck would be going through your brain?
I would probably be just confused as to why any human being would put themselves through that sort of torture.
Yeah, no joke.
For our enjoyment. Would I enjoy it? Yeah, because I'm a sadist. But I couldn't fathom it. I would never want to be in his shoes. I'm glad I'll never really have to be. And I just think that it's crazy what I'm surprised he was able to walk out of there.
Right.
Yeah, no joke. What about you, Chris? If you're in that audience, what would be going through your mind?
What the hell
Yeah, no joke.
just happened? I'm like, my heart, I basically wouldn't even say anything. My heart would be in my throat. But then again, I just look at it and just go, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like Kevin, I'm gonna say this.
Yep,
I'm like, yeah. It's crazy. But thank God I will not even try to do anything that Mick Foley or The Undertaker ever did.
Yeah, it's something that we'll never, ever, ever see again in that capacity ever again. Wow. It is a infamous moment in the times of wrestling, not just WWE history, but in wrestling history. That is a image that we will never, ever forget, and it's something you can show people now and kind of just go, yeah, this happened in wrestling, and you know, it really is a way of going, okay, we know what wrestling is, it's whatever, but it ain't fake. Wrestling to me is not fake. It might be predetermined or whatever you want to call it, but wrestling, the F word in wrestling is not something that I like to hear too much. And of course, we've all heard it from people, but hey, that's one thing I could always show someone and be like, tell me it's fake now. That dude took a lot of punishment.
Show them Kurt Angle slamming Shane McMahon through three plate glass windows.
Yeah. And it didn't break. Oh my God, when it didn't break.
And it didn't break. And whenever Shane McMahon landed on his freaking head.
Yep. I agree with you completely. There's some things like that just, just stand the test of time and just go, oh God, there's no way that would not hurt you. But as we're kind of winding down here, Chris, Kevin will probably say his bit as well, but thank you very much for coming on the show, spending an hour with us, and just, shooting the shit, talking about wrestling for an hour. We do appreciate it a lot.
Hey man, the pleasure is all mine. Being up here for an hour shooting shit about wrestling, this is a dream, man. Yeah. Have like-minded people to talk wrestling to.
Yeah, I agree. Me and Kevin kind of always kind of say this. We are very lucky that we have kind of a platform that people listen to, and it still blows my mind, even 50 or something episodes I've done now, that we have people that listen to us every kind of week. It's very crazy. Kevin, it's not like, every day we seem to have someone else that we just pop in and they go, hey, I listened to your show, and it's like, what? You listen to what I have to say?
It is just truly overwhelming that people actually want to listen to us just talk. It's crazy to me. Like, who the hell are we to get listens and to get viewers and audience members?
Yeah, no joke.
I mean, it's wrestling. It's wrestling. People love wrestling, and people love people who talk about wrestling. So that's basically what it is.
Yeah. When this was a few weeks ago now, but I think it was from the Brainbuster account. They said, hey, if you want to come on any of our shows, like, just DM us or reply to this. And I believe you even said, Chris, you were like, I'd love to come on Reverb. And I was like, what? Someone wants to come on our show? I was like, everyone's going to put one of Queen or Luke or whatever it may be. And it's like, it just blows my mind that people listen to two morons talking about wrestling for an hour.
So, yeah, I've already been on Queen, and we still probably have to do another episode. Queen, make it happen, please, ma'am.
Queen's wonderful. Shout out to Queen. We all love Queen. Queen is our...
Love you, Queen.
Queen is, I guess, cliche thing to say now, but Queen is the queen of Brainbuster Radio.
True.
She is... She's kind of just, hey, let's put over Queen for a minute, Kevin. She's just kind of come out of nowhere and is just very good at this.
Yeah,
right.
It's crazy to think she hadn't even done a solo podcast before she's linked in with Brainbuster Radio, and she's like killing the game.
Right?
No joke.
10 episodes in, and she is killing it. Straight up.
Yeah, no joke at all. It is very nice to have someone to talk to, though. I'm sure we're going to do this again, Chris, because we seem to have probably a lot more that we can talk about.
Oh, definitely.
So, please, this is your chance. The floor is yours. Put yourself over. Where can people find you? Wherever you are on Twitter or whatever you kind of got going on.
Well, famously or infamously, my Twitter handle is @black_Baymax8. And if that name is familiar, that means you've seen some fire edits of mine, and I thank you.
Yeah, go and follow Chris on Twitter. He does make fire edits. I've seen your stuff. It is very, very good. Very good.
Thank you.
But we do thank you for coming on. Again, we'll have you on at some point again in the future, and I'm sure we'll be chit-chatting on Twitter whenever it kind of goes on. But thank you very much for coming on, and we'll see you guys next time on Wrestling Reverb. Peace.
Hey there, this is Wilford from Wilford Watches Podcast, and you're listening to Wrestling Reverb.
Okay, so we want to thank Chris for coming on today and just chatting about wrestling. We did some best and worst. We talked all different kind of stuff, but Chris was fun to chat to.
Oh, he was an excellent guest. One of my favorites so far.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to having him back on the show.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have him back at some point. We just kind of wanted to take a minute here at the end of today's episode to chat about some things with Brainbuster Radio that is coming up. The first thing I want to chat about, which Kevin can say more on than me, is Brainbuster OP. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, what that stands for, what it is all about, Kevin, take them on a nice little journey.
Yes, I've been waiting to plug this for an hour now. Brainbuster OP. What does it stand for? Brainbuster Original Press. It is the Brainbuster blog branch, and we are currently underway. We've just started about a week ago. We are open to all bloggers, anyone who wants a platform to write. You don't want to write, you're sick of seeing news, wrestling news and reviews and previews, and you just want a place to offer an original thought. We are open to you. Please slide in my DMs if you're interested at Kevin C. Wrestling, or you can slide into Wilf's at Brainbuster Radio, and we will gladly get you set up on the path to joining Brainbuster Original Press. We're taking over the world, and we've had so many great articles, so many great stories being told over the last week. Fantastic authors like, Becky and Aussie Lucian Blogs and, Mike Charlotte, Mike B. Baby. Those are their Twitter handles. I'm not just throwing random shit at the wall. But terrific bunch of authors. Alex Fullwood with his Walking the King's Road series. Very excited that he brought that to Brainbuster Original Press. And there's so much more coming down the pike in the coming days and weeks. So keep an eye out. You can find all of our stuff at bbr.home.blog. And all the links will be tweeted out on the Brainbuster Radio Twitter account. So just get on it. You're not going to want to miss it.
Yeah, no. Now, Kevin is kind of, I guess, how would I put you over here, Kevin? I guess you're kind of one of the main men in charge of this little adventure, which is cool because it's right up your alley.
It's yeah, definitely. I've been writing for a long time now. It's me and Wilf's baby.
Yeah,
and we're both working our asses off to make sure it goes smoothly. I'll put Wilf over tremendously for it because he's helped me. He's helped me out. I've helped him out. He's filled in for me when I'm not around. He's definitely taken a lot of initiative with this, and I think I've taken a lot of initiative with this as well. And so it's a two-man gig, and we both play off each other so well that it really works out.
Yeah, you guys are really doing a good job of really making this something cool because it's more we're branching. This is something that's just kind of happened organically too. It isn't something we really planned from the start to be like, we're going to do this and we're going to do this, we're going to do this. It's just kind of happened. We have more talent, especially with you, Kev. This is definitely your kind of thing, is to write, especially opinion-based things, because I know for me, a lot of things that kind of, I guess kind of not put me off, just kind of, make me kind of turn away from a lot of them is it's very rumor based. It's very just like, he said, she said. But in this case with Brainbuster stuff, it's all opinion based. It's just basically a written form of podcast in my eyes. Yeah. That's how I see it.
It's an extension of Brainbuster Radio. It's original content from original people, original authors who have so much to offer.
Yeah. And, hey, Kev, I'm going to keep putting you over. You are very good at it. You are very good at writing. And, hey, I've read some of the stuff. I do like that kind of stuff. And, hey, I'm not a writer. It's not really in me, I don't think it is to write. But, who knows? Maybe you'll see something from me. Doubtful. But
I really, really hope so. I'd love to see something from you.
Really?
For Josh, I'm not the only one who's doing some really fantastic stuff with Brainbuster. Why don't you tell the people about what you're working on and what we can expect to see from Brainbuster this summer?
Oh, yes. I am, I guess, in contrary to what you're doing, I am kind of trying, along with Wilf and JPQ, we are trying to get some stuff started with Brainbuster TV, which is, you can go over to twitch.tv/BBR TV, and we're trying to create a bit of a visual experience for what we kind of offer, in an audio form. We're trying to expand into some other stuff where we really want to make this the place, I guess, with the original press and BBR TV, along with Brainbuster Radio. We really want to make this a kind of multimedia experience. And with BBR TV, without giving too much away, because we have some plans and, we're only in the beginning stages of it and stuff like that. But we're trying to make you want to watch us as well as listen to us. And, we've been working on some stuff, getting used to how Twitch operates and whatever else comes with that. We've been really testing some things out. We've had a lot of chats. Kevin, you're very much involved with all of these chats of what we've got kind of planned and what we want to do. And I ain't going to spoil anything. I ain't that person. But we do have some pretty cool stuff planned along for BBR TV. I think it's going to be a cool avenue. And again, I love being in front of a camera. It's not unnatural for me. It is for some people, but I like doing that kind of stuff. Shameless plug here, but go to my YouTube and you can see me really do a really bad job at cooking.
Oh, it's a great video, though. I recommend it for anyone listening out there. Please go watch Josh cook from the WWE Cookbook.
Oh, yeah, it's something else. I don't know. I really enjoy, you can probably tell from the way I talk, and Kevin, just the way I talk to you, I enjoy getting a laugh out of people. I do think, as cheesy as it sounds, it is the best medicine to laugh, and, whatever's going on in anyone's lives, it's just nice to laugh. And it's just fun. I don't mind making an absolute idiot of myself, because I am that deep down. So it doesn't really bother me. If someone's laughing, I don't care if it's with me or at me.
Yeah, honestly, I feel the same exact way.
Listen, I'm always, the amount of times I just shit talk and just, oh my god, the amount of times I tell you to fuck off, Kevin, is something else.
Yeah, it's too many times.
But it's all out of pure love.
I know.
But fuck off, Kevin, eh? Hey? But yeah, we have got a lot of stuff, getting back to the topic here, on Brainbuster Radio, that is just more than just what you're listening to every single day on the podcast. We have got a lot of things planned, and we're all very excited to kind of branch out, do some other stuff, and whatever sticks, whatever doesn't. But we're all of us at Brainbuster Radio are very willing to try, and you don't really get that many people that are just ready to throw themselves out there like that, because, hey, some of this stuff might not work, some of it might.
Yeah, this is really a trial and error based run we're going on here. We don't know how it's going to pan out, but we're willing to put in the man hours and the woman hours to make sure it goes smoothly because we want to put on a great show for you guys.
Yeah, we do. We just want to put out the best content possible. We grow all the time. Please, all of Brainbuster's links and stuff, you can go to the Brainbuster Radio Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, the original press stuff. We're everywhere we need to be. We are there. And, follow me and Kev on Twiv. Kev on Twitter. I don't know why I said that like that. Anyway, follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Twiv if you want, but don't know.
Follow us on a number of made-up social media platforms. We're on all of them.
Yeah, Pinterest. Go to Pinterest. We might be there. I don't know.
Brainbuster Snapchat.
Hey, don't get us started on that. Just see my cat for 20 hours. That's a lot of my Snapchat. Kevin has me on Snapchat. It's a lot of my cat.
It is a lot of cat.
I love my cat, alright? Let's no cat hate here.
Sorry, my Snapchat's basically my dog.
I do. I love dogs too. Better. Cats are better than dogs.
That's not true.
It just is, but it's alright to be wrong sometimes. It's okay. Kevin, it's alright to be wrong sometimes.
You're a dirty liar.
Cats are better. Cats are just...
No, they're not.
Just listen. Let's not get into this right now. But in closing, cats are better than dogs, and we'll find you next week. We'll find you next week right here on Brainbuster Radio. And yeah, that's really about it. Kevin, anything else you want to add to this wonderful chat that we had today?
Get a dog, don't get a cat.
Oh, wow. Just don't listen to him.
And I love cats too. I don't want people to think I'm a cat hater. I love cats. It's just
I love dogs. Hey, I love dogs too. I'm not a dog hater at all. I have a dog. He's a lot. He's like me, actually. He's a lot. But my cat's just an asshole, and that's what I like about her. But anyway, to steer off of wrestling for a minute, we do like animals here. We love all animals here on Wrestling Reverb. We're an animal-loving kind of podcast. I love animals.
Animals are terrific.
Yeah, animals are terrific. But that will do us this week here on Wrestling Reverb. We'll catch you next week right here on Brainbuster Radio. Peace out.
What's happening, wrestling fans? This is Conrad Cushman from the Everything Pro Wrestling Podcast. And right now, you're listening to Wrestling Reverb Podcast on Brainbuster Radio.